You are listening to the Aim to Win in Business and Life podcast with Tony Coleman Brown, where we believe that in life, you're either winning or learning, but never losing. So let's get ready to win with Tony Coleman Brown.
Greetings and welcome to the podcast. On today's episode of the Aim to Win in Business and Life podcast, you're going to hear from Deana Karim. Deana is the founder of Goodies Mixes, and they are low carb and healthy mixes where all you have to do is add your favorite eggs or butters, and you can create your own healthy brownies and cookies and sweet treats. But the key about her product and what makes them great and special is the fact that they do not contain any sugar. So they are low carb friendly and keto friendly mixes that you can purchase and actually enjoy them in the comfort of your own home. If you want to head over to her website to check out the products, go to goodies, GOODDEES.com and enter in the code TonySaves15. That's TONISAVES 15 so that you can save 15% on your order from goodies.com. In this episode, you're going to learn a lot about Deana. You're going to learn about how she started her business. She's a fabulous businesswoman, and she's actually a joy to interview. I really enjoyed myself on this interview, and you'll be able to tell by the questions and how everything just flowed. I believe that I found a new friend, and you will too. And you will fall in love with Deana the same way that I did in this interview. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to up-level your business, pay attention to a few great clues that Deana leaves in this interview. So get ready to learn and get ready to win right now. So we are on and we are live, and welcome everyone, and hello. And if we ever are able to just go live on Facebook, then we'll get that going on. But I am so excited because tonight I have Deana Karim on, and she is the founder of Goodies Mixes. And I have to just tell the story of how I met her. I met her on Instagram, and I was so excited to be able to, reach out to her. And, sometimes when you meet people on Instagram and you reach out to them, they're not so nice and they're not so friendly. But I have to tell you that Deana was just extremely friendly. And when I asked her if she would come on live on the podcast, she just immediately said yes. And so I was just so excited that she said yes and that she decided to come on with me. I have a series of questions to ask her, and we're just going to jump right into this interview because I recently started the keto lifestyle, and it's actually been very beneficial to me. I've seen an increase in my energy, Deana. I've lost about 20 pounds, and I'm working towards getting back to my pre-pregnancy weight. Look, 21 years later.
14. Be fair to yourself.
Yeah,
14.
okay, yes, let's say 14 years later. Yes, let's go by the last one. 14 years
you
later.
You always go by the last child. That's what
Okay. So 14 years later, and and I met some incredible people online, and I was just so excited that you decided to say yes and come on board. Why don't you just tell everyone that's on, tell them about yourself, who you are, and how did you get started on this keto journey? Like,
I know.
I don't know how many years, 15 years ago almost, or 5 years ago?
Five. Yeah, 5 going on 6.
Okay.
Very crazy. I actually had just had my son in 2012, Mr. Ibby. He's 6 now. And my metabolism changed, my body changed, and what I used to do before, I think because I yo-yoed so often and so frequently before I had him, my weight, I would either be like a pretty good weight, or then I would just balloon, and it would just go up and down. So I'm pretty sure I wreaked havoc on my metabolism. Mm-hmm. And after I had him, my body, my hormones, everything was so different that no matter what I did, I just couldn't, I didn't have energy. I was like, in my late 20s and I have a baby, like it shouldn't be like this. So
Mm-hmm.
that's when I started doing research. I still remember he was 8 months old, and then I started going online, and at first I saw Ducon diet, and then I was like, I can't do it. And so I did it for a little bit. I was like, I'm not feeling well. And then I, transitioned to Atkins because I remember it worked for me in high school. And then with all the research that I was doing online, Atkins like my lifestyle became from Atkins to ketogenic. And then I just went full force and I loved it. And from there, I really haven't looked back. So it's been pretty amazing to me. It wasn't just about, I have to say, it wasn't just about weight. I mean, I think initially that's what it usually is for a lot of people, but it really healed a lot of things with me in my relationship with food. And it let me enjoy food again. I don't feel like there's good or bad anymore. I just feel like this tastes really good. And now I'm full and we're good. And I'm not scared of fat anymore. So it's been a lot of things.
Well, that's good. And I mean, did you feel like the incredible energy, and did you feel like the brain boost? Because I know that I experienced that.
I did. I definitely don't need as much sleep. I work a lot. So, and with I have two kids. I have my 6-year-old and my 2-year-old Gus. And with both of them, I definitely feel like I can keep up with them. It's been really nice. And then if I ever do have an off day, or if I'm on vacation and maybe I'm not, hitting the macros, or I'm not in ketosis, I definitely feel a little different for sure. I don't have the benefits of that. So there's a lot of positives to it for sure.
So now is everybody in the house keto, or is it just you? Just you?
Just me.
So how do you handle that? Do you find yourself having to, cook meals for them and then cook certain things for you? Or is it that you cook the same things for them, but then just make sure you have your keto-friendly stuff available for you?
That's pretty much it. Basically, the protein is the same for all of us. And then for side dishes, no one really loves cauliflower like I love cauliflower. So
Me too.
I love cauliflower, and it just drives my mom crazy. She's like, stop eating it. I was like, I love it. So I can eat a whole head of it. So
Wow.
they are not really on the cauliflower train 100%. So I'll make them what they want. And, some days they like, and I just let my kids try it too. I'm like, you don't know, you don't like it. You don't know if you don't like it if you don't try it. So they'll humor me and they'll try it. And then sometimes they like it and sometimes they don't. And I don't sweat it. So I definitely cater to myself in that, and I cater to them.
Right.
It's a little tiring, but then once you do it, you get used to it, and it's like not even a big deal anymore. Because if you think about it, a long time ago when we were doing other, this has become my lifestyle, but when I was doing diets per se, like in the past, were we not eating different things as well? Like when I was living at home with my parents, my mom makes the best food, and I was like eating something on the side because it was the diet at the time. And it's just like, so it's not too different, except now I can actually eat like the really good foods with my family. So that's really
nice. That's what I love about keto. I have found that Thanksgiving wasn't that different. Nothing is that different. Sunday dinners are not that different. It's just that they have different sides,
It's the side dishes for sure. It's really the side dishes and the desserts.
Right. Well, we don't do too many desserts around here anymore, but they do. And let me stop. My kids, they love junk food. I'm looking over, I see some little bites. You know what I mean? So I buy the things that they like, because, we wouldn't have a happy household if they didn't have their junk. But then I buy the things that I need for me as well. And, do you find that you have to do a lot of meal prepping?
Not really. I mean, I'm always in the kitchen anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So,
so you like to cook?
I love to cook.
Oh, wow.
So I don't feel like it's this chore for me. So I kind of like to make it on the day of, and I like to think like, what can I make with what I have in the freezer so it doesn't go to waste. So it's very much a move that I've seen from my mom growing up. Like she would just like make up dishes with what we have.
Right.
And so I usually do that. And my kids have their favorites and my husband has his favorites. So I'm already baking because I just love to be in the kitchen. It's like that, and grocery stores are my favorite places to be, which is sad, but it's true.
So tell us about, because you are a businesswoman.
Yes.
So tell us about that transition from, just loving the lifestyle and, loving baking and figuring out how to make your love for baking work on a ketogenic diet. And how did this all come about? Because I know there are lots of women out there that have ideas, want to start businesses, and they just don't know what foot to put forward first. So tell us about that.
Yeah, of course. So I had started, and then I, started cooking, kind of the same, but like you said, different sides and experimenting.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2014, I've always liked to bake. And I really got into experimenting with everything, with the different flours now, the nut-based flours, the seed-based flours, just a lot of different ingredients that maybe are not in everyone's pantry. And really getting to know the alternative sweeteners that won't raise blood glucose levels or kick anyone out of ketosis, like erythritol, and using stevia. And then I would bake it, and my husband's like, hey, this is pretty good. And I actually took it to my sister, and she goes, it was chocolate chip cookies. And so she goes, these are really good. You should sell them. So, I mean, she made this really small comment, and I literally took it and ran with it.
Oh, wow.
In 2014. And then I remember December 2014, she had a show for it was kind of like, not like a trade show, it was just like this little thing where vendors were coming together. And I said, I'm going to leave a plate of my cookies. And I wrapped them up, and I spent so much time baking them. I still remember. And I left them, and then I was so nervous, I just left. And so she called me, she goes, where are you? I was like, oh, I had to go pick up, I only had one son then. And then she goes, everyone loves the cookies. They want to meet you. They want to know what you did. I was like, what? They liked it? She goes, yeah. And it's really just having that confidence, because you're so nervous in the beginning.
Right.
And so she said everyone liked it. So I remember I went and I was introducing myself and talking to them. And they're like, wow, this is really good. I just can't believe it doesn't have sugar in it. And I was like, well, no, it's true. And then I thought, okay, let me release cookies. And after doing the research, and I really researched a lot.
Uh-oh. Okay. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know either. I decided after that, I was like, you know what? I didn't know if I wanted to do coconut oil. I didn't know if I wanted to do grass-fed butter. I was like, let me make a mix. And that's really how it transitioned. I was like, let me make a mix. And then whoever buys it can add what they want. So if they're dairy-free, they have the dairy-free option. And so then that was around March, April of 2015. And then I did all the paperwork for my LLC. By the summer, that was completed. I found my co-packer, because in New York, you can't do anything from your house. I had to have a co-packer, which is expensive. So I was also working at the time.
Yeah.
And I saved everything, and everything I could put on the side. I did it for my very first run that was super small. Finding even a co-packer that would do the run was really hard, because they want to do big runs, because otherwise they don't really make money. So they did the run for me, and I remember thinking, God, this is so much money. But it's like, yeah, I still remember, and it makes me happy because I see that it grew. And I had all these boxes in my apartment, and then I launched it October 23rd, 3 days before my 2015, 3 days before my 31st birthday, because I had a goal to start my own company when I'm 30, and I was like, I'm still 30. I'm still 30. Like, I have 3 days of the deadline. I'm still 30. It counts.
Right.
I know, it's very silly, but in my head it made
no,
sense.
but that's good. That's good.
Yeah, so then I started to sell then, and then a month later I found out I was pregnant with my second. And then in 2016, I was 8 months pregnant, and I got actually let go from my job.
Okay.
And then
that was a layoff that paid off.
No, because I was a contractor. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so I still remember that happened. I was like, eek. And then I had just finalized the brownie mix. So I was still working and putting the money into the company, and I got let go. And I launched the brownie mix. I was like, oh, I'm so stressed out. Like, is this going to work or not? Because there were days I wouldn't make any sales.
Right.
And I felt really strongly about the mixes. And then I was in the hospital doing my C-section, and then
Oh, wow.
I took my phone just to look at it. I was like, I wonder how it's doing. I had just launched the brownie mix in July, end of July, and it was #1 on Amazon.
Oh,
I was like,
wow.
and I got all these, I was like, and I told my husband, he's like, what? And I was like, hold on, I'm excited, but I'm healing from a C-section. So
Right, right,
and
right.
so then I spoke with my husband and we talked about it. He's like, okay, this is like, we have something here. Like, this is, it's no more doing two things at the same time, like your other job and this. This is the time now. If you're going to do it,
Do it.
go for it. Do it. And I haven't looked back. So
now on Amazon, are you part of Amazon FBA?
yes, it is fulfillment by Amazon. Thank you.
Okay.
Sometimes people get very frustrated with me, and I'm like, I promise you, I wasn't sending it to you. Amazon should take care of that. It is FBA.
So you were shipping it to Amazon and they were fulfilling the orders.
They were, yeah.
Okay.
But
yeah.
But then I came back because I had my son in Texas, because my family's there. And that's where I'm from.
You're from the South. I'm from Louisiana, New Orleans.
My gosh, no way.
Yes, yes.
Born and raised Austin, Texas, and I had both my kids in Austin. Even
Oh, wow.
I think my husband was more than okay with it, because I was a very weepy, slightly moody pregnant woman. And so
okay.
My mom was like, I want to take care of her. He's like, my dad's like, yay. And he was like, I think the first time he was like, okay, I guess. And then the second time he's like, you really should do it there. I was like, I don't know. Maybe I'll do it in New York. He goes, no, I think you should do it in Texas. So I was like,
oh, that's nice.
It was nice.
That's very nice.
Yes, I came back. Gus was only 3-4 weeks, and I had a lot of orders to fulfill, and I was still fulfilling it. So I had a lot of boxes and a crib in our room, because you know how New York is.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And so I remember I would be breastfeeding and printing out the labels and doing the bags.
You are a superwoman.
I wasn't. I just remember thinking, like, how am I going to do this? And then I would put a bunch of the bags under we have like those giant strollers. And so if it was his nap time, I would walk with him and Ibby, because there was like a stool for Ibby to stand on, and we would go and dump it at the post office and then come back.
Wow.
And my husband would help me, and he would take the bags in the morning, as many as he could, on his way to work. And he's like,
wow.
Hold on. Like, let me find a bag that would hold it. I know. And then eventually, I was doing that since I started. I did it for over 1.5 years before I found a fulfillment center, because it's expensive. So you want to cut costs as much as you can.
Right. In the beginning.
Definitely. So I definitely penny pinched.
You bootstrapped it.
I did.
Yeah. You bootstrapped it, but you did what you had to do.
Not on ingredients. And because I spent so much and still do on ingredients, I never cut corners on there. But I cut corners on other things, like myself putting the labels on the bags to save like however much. It's nice to remember it now, to be honest. Like, I smile. It's a good memory. Because,
I mean, you were delivering one baby and birthing another baby at the same time.
Yes.
So the company is your baby. You're delivering and it's, hey, look at that.
It's crazy. Like, I still remember seeing all the boxes, because, the shipments would come here.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't order too many at a time. Well, 1, cost restraints, and 2, space restraints.
Right.
And so by the time I had a 3rd SKU, which was the Snickerdoodle, my husband's like, there's literally no room in the apartment. It was like boxes on top of boxes on top of boxes. He's like, we have nowhere to move. And so it was true. It was very claustrophobic for a little bit, but it was fun.
Right. So now you have the fulfillment center. Things are a lot easier.
Much easier. I have my warehouse, and I have Amazon. And so that's what really allows you to expand. You need space. And and you understand how it is in New York. It's not like you have a garage and you can, it's like you have an apartment and you find places to put the boxes, and you have to just figure it out. So,
but it was worth it. How is business today?
Knock on wood. So I don't want to jinx myself. Very good. I'm very lucky. I'm very grateful. I have the nicest customers. I've become friends with many of them, which makes me very happy. I knew a lot of them before I started the business because of I have my D Low Carb Cafe account, and that's what I started to chronicle, like for, chronicling my journey. And I remember doing that. And I think I also started that one end of 2013. So I've stayed in touch with all those people on both the accounts. So it was really cool because when they saw me start Good Deeds, they're like, what? And so a lot of them became customers and now friends. It's been very nice. I'm very lucky with the people who support me. I have a very supportive customer base and just really, really good energy around me. So I'm lucky.
That is so cool. That is
It is.
so cool.
I'm very
So,
grateful. I'm very grateful.
So where do you see yourself taking this? I mean, I know you said today you launched in a store in Puerto Rico. So tell us
Yes,
a little bit about that.
that was very exciting. So I am in a few stores in New York.
Okay.
I'm in a couple of stores in California.
Mm-hmm.
I just launched actually on Amazon UK. So that's very exciting. I'm very excited about that. And I'm in Canada. I have a really good relationship with the store there, Switch Grocery.
Mm-hmm.
I love the owner there. She's amazing. I'm in a couple of other stores in Canada as well. So I've been very lucky. Canada's been very good to me. US has been very good to me. So I've
Nice.
hopefully
What is,
UK and EU.
yeah, yes. Oh no, we're gonna speak it into existence. You're already a
Yes,
success.
I believe it. Put it out there and just
Yeah.
run with it.
So tell us, what's the process like? What's that process like, reaching out to retailers and getting your product, placed on a shelf? It's a lot of communication, outreach.
It is. It is. So it's twofold. It's you reaching out and communicating with him, and then there's the other side where if you're somehow lucky enough to grab their attention
Mm-hmm.
and they reach out to you, it's then once they reach out to you, it's you convincing them in that kind of sense, like, hey, I've heard about you, but why should I carry you? And you're like, this is why. And sometimes I think, before I used to be like, oh, sales is like really difficult and I don't know, this and that. But I think it's because I wasn't passionate about what I was selling. And because this is now my company and my baby, and I believe in this so much, I don't feel like I'm
It
hard
doesn't
selling
feel
anyone on it.
cheesy.
No, it doesn't. It's kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, but this is why, and this is my journey, and my mom has diabetes, and it runs in my family, and I was scared of that, and I think that's important too, because my mom is a huge inspiration to me. She has diabetes, and when I was growing up, she'd be making all these treats with like random ingredients,
Uh-huh.
because and back then like it was lower sugar, and
Right.
yeah, and I mean maybe it's just interesting to see how that's evolved. So yeah, so there's that. So I mean, I just think if you really believe in what you're doing, it's really just going to be about time and persistence, to be honest with you, because I've so many times in my journey I've gotten impatient, or I'll tell my husband, like, in the beginning, I'm telling you, days would go where I wouldn't make a sale, and I was like, oh my god, like, is this like,
Mm-hmm.
am I gonna make it? And I would get stressed out if my siblings, my sisters, I have 3 older sisters, like, so how's it going? I was like, yeah, it's good, yeah, making sales. Like, and it's just very interesting, like the moment that I wasn't doing 2 jobs and raising my son, and I just focused on just the company, that's when I feel like really everything kind of came together, which it's nice. And I wish I could have done that earlier, but you have to be smart about it.
Mm-hmm.
If you need another source of income to come in to fund it, then that's what you have to do. And
Right.
so that's about being patient. And so that was hard for me because I'm not exactly patient all the time, and I get very excited and I get the idea, and that's why when I get an idea and I get very inspired, that's why I have so many mixes now, because I'm like, no, I want this to be released. So I'll be excited about one mix, and then I get the idea for a new one, and then I just go with it. And so that's the creative part of me. But then the business side of me realized you have to be slow and steady. You have to be patient. You really do. And it's so hard. But really, patience, persistence, and just having the confidence is really the 3 things that I feel like have benefited me the most throughout this. Because I still can't believe it's been over 3 years since I started this. I feel like it was just yesterday.
Wow.
But then other times when I see something, I'm like, oh, I like I've been doing this forever. I should be further ahead, but I'm very hard on myself, right? So, I think everyone, especially when you're in business, you have high expectations for yourself. And I think that's okay. Because I think if you stop having that, you stop kind of growing. And so I want to keep that for myself. But it's also my personality. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, let me ask you a question about marketing and promotion and, branding and PR. What are some of your strategies for that? Like what are some of the places that you market and, what are you actively doing to get your name out there? Have you hired a PR person, an agency or something like that? So
to get my name out there, I have to be very honest. It's all been word of mouth.
Awesome.
I was really, and I think that's probably why, it's not taking me a long time, but it's been over 3 years. It's not like 3 months. And I think that in the beginning, I made some mistakes. How do I put it? I would try to use money, because I was just me trying to figure everything out.
Yeah.
And like doing Google and the, pay-per-click, the PPC, and doing search engine optimization or SEO.
Yeah.
And I think if you're not very skilled in that, you can drain resources really fast. And I think I saw that happening. I was like, and so I turned it off and I didn't touch it for a while, to be honest with you. And then once I had the resources, I decided to go a route where I hire someone who knows how to do that. And I think that's one thing I would suggest to any small business is that know how to do everything, but know that if you can't do something well, you should hire someone who knows how to do it well, but at least you know what they're doing. And I think that's really important. I can do everything that I have in my company, but if I need to hire like a contractor to do something because they can do it better than me, I think that's money well spent.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hard part. I think we try to save on everything. And I realize slowly but surely that it's okay to know how to do everything, but you're not going to be great at everything.
You can't scale doing everything for
No,
yourself.
you
So
can't.
it's like time or money. So if you do it yourself, you're going to end up spending a lot of time. You'll save money, but you'll end up spending a lot of time. Then you'll be exhausted. Then you'll end up hating your business because you're trying to do everything in your business.
For sure. And
right.
Yeah. And I also think like for instance, if I'm going to hire someone to help me do something, like a consultant for like online or anything like that, I still need to know what they're talking about. So I think you have to be educated in everything that you're doing in your business so that when someone tells you, you're not like, that sounds good, I don't know what you're saying. No, you should always know what they're saying.
Right.
And I think that's really important. And I'm glad I learned the hard way, putting in money, doing online advertising, and then figuring out like, I'm not very good at this, but that's okay. I know how to do it, but I don't know how to do it well. And that's not a bad thing. And that's okay.
So you bootstrapped it, and I mean, and that's very admirable. And I think that a lot of people want to know how do you do that? Like how do you do that? Like how do you bootstrap it? How do you make adjustments in your budget so that that I need to put this amount aside for my business and this amount aside for taking care of my bills and things like that. And
for sure. That's a really good question. I think really in the beginning, I wasn't so focused. I was more, and even till now, I think it's so important that you're very involved in the community that you're into, that you're part of the community. And because I just really focused heavily on that, and I still do. I enjoy everyone, and I'm very active on Instagram. I talk to a lot of them. I message like so many times in a day. And I feel like I know a lot of these people just like they feel like they know me, which is so nice.
Good.
And I think that's important. I think take the time to actually have genuine relationships because people care about that. And then you care about those people and they care about you. So it's a mutual relationship that you are creating, but multiple levels of it. And I think it's okay to, this is the problem, I really think. I think when people or anybody, and myself included, start a business, you're like so stressed and you're just so anxious that you become very frantic. and you're like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that because I have to make sales and this and that. And I think once I took a step back, I was like, okay, let me work on the second mix, which was the brownie mix. Let me just chill out for a little bit. Let me figure out exactly what I want to do and not be just like, and I think that once the energy calmed down, everything
fell into place.
fell into place. And I think it's just hard for us, right? When you have a business, you're just like so into it, you believe in it
You
so
get
much, you want
anxious.
everyone to see it right when you see it because you know it's going to be great and they should love it. And then I just realized, hey, that's not how it's going to happen, and that's okay. So I have a newfound patience, I think, when it comes to that kind of stuff. And I think that's really the first thing, is having the patience and the knowledge, just being like, okay, it's fine, because it's, people can sense when you're being like when you have a very like frantic energy, and I think it can be off-putting.
Yeah. When it's just like, I got to get this sale. If I don't get this sale, I'm not going to be able to pay the mortgage. You got to buy.
Yes. Yes. And, and I had the luxury of having my other job until, 8 months.
Yes.
And then I got very lucky in that sense. And I have my husband who's very supportive. So I was very fortunate in that. But, I also saved a lot before. And I think that's very important. I think that the one thing I do think that could be an error is, because you were talking about marketing, is I think when anyone launches a product, they assume, and keep in mind my background, like my degrees are in advertising and PR. That's why I have 2 degrees, and one's in advertising and one's in PR. And I think the thing is, when you start that, you can overspend very fast. Very quickly. And I think people think it's so necessary. I think in the beginning, just kind of perfecting the product, really getting to know who you're targeting, like your target audience. I think just really studying everything is so much more important. I think marketing is it's great. It's my background. I love it. It's important, or I wouldn't have sales. But I don't think that, it can be a really big drain financially.
I think that what you did a couple of things right, though. I think, because this is what I heard from you, that, I went to a seminar with Michael Malkowitz. I think that's the same. Michael Malkowitz. He wrote this book, The Pumpkin Plan. And I think that he wrote the other book, The Toilet Paper Entrepreneur.
Oh, okay.
And in the book, The Pumpkin Plan, one of the things that he talked about was, a lot of times in business, we like to go after that new customer. And one of the things that he said was that it's really never about the new customer. It's about really servicing your existing customer and extending the lifetime value of an existing customer. So basically, he said it costs 10 times more money to acquire a new customer than it would be just to service your kind of super fan, the people that already know, like, and trust you. It's all about, increasing their lifetime value. I think from your story, what I hear that you did right was, you were the target audience. And not only that, but you also, you were in the community. So
I was,
it was,
and I like everyone.
easy. Yeah, it was an easy thing to say, hey, everybody,
It was.
now this is what I'm doing. And, easy to expand from that, easy for other people to say, hey, I got this from her, is great. And that's, look, that's how I found you, from that keto lady who had your mixes and made the chocolate chip cookies. And she was just like, these are amazing.
That's so nice. I have to say, though, also it's very tricky, because it depends which community you're in. And I'm really lucky. The keto community, the low carb community, the sugar-free diabetic community that's online is very supportive and very nice. And I don't think that happens. I don't know about other groups or other products that aren't food related, or I don't know about that. So I won't speak on that. I'm just saying, from my experience, I'm very lucky, and I feel very grateful. And I let them know that, because otherwise I would just be like a really crazy lady baking in the kitchen constantly with a erythritol and almond flour and sunflower seeds. So I think the thing is, like, I appreciate it, and I have deep gratitude for all those people, because I wouldn't have a company without them, and I'm very aware of that. It's not something that I'm aware of it every day. And I want them to know every day that I'm very grateful for that. So I think that's something I want to put out there. So
That's
without getting
awesome.
emotional, I don't want to get emotional.
It's okay if you do. It's okay if you do.
I might.
So here's the thing. I want to ask you, there are a lot of women out there that want to, start a business. They have a passion project idea. What piece of advice would you give to them?
Great. I love this. Start. I think that's really the one thing that differentiates entrepreneurs from people with ideas. You have to just start. Honestly, and I think starting on a small scale to begin with, don't feel like you have to go in there and have like 8 different, options or varieties. If you do something and you do it well and you love it, start with one. I started with one. And a lot of people say, oh, when you're launching, you should always have at least 2 to 3. And I was like, I can't afford that. And I don't want to wait. And so I think as long as you just start, it'll take its course. People have a fear and they don't want to start. And even on a small scale, just start something, start it like what you like and what you've been thinking that you want to do. And then just test the waters. It's nothing, I think we're very fearful of failure. And I mean,
I think so too.
Oh, for sure. I'm like, because when I put it out there, and I know in the beginning, most of my followers were either from my low carb account or related to me. And if you go to my post, you'll know who my mom is, because she's like so proud of you, my daughter. I was like, Mom, like they know.
So I was going to ask you, who is your inspiration? But I think I know the answer to that.
Both my parents. I'm very close to my mom and dad. My dad came to the U.S. A long time ago now, I think 50 years now, with $300 in his pocket, came to Brooklyn. It was too cold for him because he came in the winter.
Wow.
Yeah, 50 years ago to this month. And
Wow.
he's like, no. And he went to Austin. And so we've all were based there. And then my mom came and followed him with my 2 sisters and from Lebanon. And, just seeing how they built a business. My dad has his own company, and he's, him and my mom, I don't know how they did it. Like, he didn't even speak English in the beginning, and neither did she. And she still remembers she had her dictionary, like her translation dictionary. I don't want to get emotional, but yeah.
Wow. That is so awesome. That is so awesome. And God bless you. Both of my parents are deceased, but I can tell you that, they had similar backgrounds. Like my father was, from Louisiana. I called him like the Bubba Gump of the South, because he was a shrimper. And he would sell shrimp. And he did what he had to do to take care of the family. And my mom, she was a cosmetologist, and she had her own business. But both of them kind of worked and then had their businesses as kind of like side hustles. So I see where I get a lot of my energy from, and to do a lot of the things that I'm doing. And I'm also here in New York, but I say I'm just like a country girl in the city, and I love Austin. I've been to Austin.
Thank you.
I like
I'm
it.
very proud of being from Austin, and I
It's
love
pretty
living
cool.
in New York. So I'm very lucky. I get both.
The best of both worlds.
Yeah, sorry for getting emotional.
Oh, you don't have to be sorry for that. I understand. I understand.
Yeah,
Trust
I
me,
mean, they're just, they're amazing.
Good people.
They are, and like seeing my mom with diabetes, it's been so hard on her, and I would never want to have to go through that, and she wouldn't want us to have to go through that. So
right.
And she is like an expert baker. And so
really?
she will literally, she's like, what is that show where they just give you random ingredients and you have to figure it out? Like she will just
like Top Chef.
Like Top Chef, and she'll just look in the closet. She's like, I'm gonna make this today. We're like, what is it? She's like, I'm not sure yet. So
wow, she's a real artist.
She is, and her and my dad are like such hard workers and still are, and they're just very inspirational. So
speaking of inspiration, what's your favorite quote?
Oh my gosh, I wrote it down for you.
Okay.
Because I have it memorized, but just in case something like this would happen where I get emotional and then I forget myself. So I've been obsessed with this quote for a long time. So I'm going to read it.
Okay.
be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind. It's from
That's
Dr.
right.
It's
That's
my
Dr.
favorite.
Ruth, right? Dr.
Dr.
Ruth,
Seuss.
right? Dr. Seuss. Oh, I love
That's
Dr.
how you know I have
Seuss.
2 kids, right?
No, I love Dr. Seuss. Let me tell you, one of the things that I always like to do at graduations and whatnot, when people ask me to come and, say a few words, I bring the Dr. Seuss book, All the Places You Will Go.
Oh my God.
And I read it.
You're just trying to make me cry tonight. I don't know.
You like that book too?
I do.
I love that book.
I'm emotional today.
I love that book. It's okay. It's okay. So I want to thank you. This has been really amazing. You've shared a lot of great gems. I think that a lot of people can learn from your story, your process. And, I think that what you've done it the right way. And my prayer for you is that you have tremendous success and that it just keeps growing and growing and growing. And since you're here in New York, when I have my networking events, I'm going to invite you to come out.
Please do.
And, I have
try not to cry when I come. Just
that's okay. Listen, we all cry.
The Dr. Seuss book. It'll be fine.
We all cry. We can cry together. It's
we'll
fine.
just read and cry together. And then I should just bring my kids for story time.
Perfect. This has been great. I'm so happy that you said yes, Deana. And
thank you for asking me, actually.
Awesome.
It means a lot to me. I am very supportive of female entrepreneurs. I think it's super important. And however I can help, I want to. So thank you for asking me. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. So thank you for being here tonight. And thank you everyone that decided to tune in. I couldn't get the Facebook Live to work, but we'll post this on Facebook anyway as the video. And it'll be on the podcast. I'll let you know when it's ready and you can send it out to everybody. And just thank you so much. And I can't wait to try it. I wanted to come and meet up with you, right? I said, I'm going to come and meet up with her because this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to have it here baked and just eat it in front of everybody so that I
would love that.
You could have told me that.
I mean, you don't want to be around me today because, I've been trying to feel better after my whole food poisoning incident.
Oh, yeah. You'll feel better. It'll get better. And we'll meet up one day.
Tell me when, and I will.
Awesome. So thank you so much. And thank you everybody for listening, and stay tuned for the relaunch of the Network for Women in Business, which is an online marketing platform. And we just do a lot of great things for female entrepreneurs. We try to bring you the best of the best and, to give you a lot of knowledge and inspiration. Our motto is that we educate to elevate women in business. And so look out for what we have planned for this year. Thank you guys so much for being here. And thank you so much, Deana. We are now officially done. So you can get back to your family. Hey guys, wasn't Deana just great? What a great interview. And I learned so much about the process of starting a business. She's just fantastic. Don't forget to go check out her low carb and keto friendly mixes at goodies.com. That's GOODDEES.com. And don't forget to use the coupon code TonySaves15 so that you can save 15% on your order. That's Tony, TONI, saves 15. And thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time on the Aim to Win in Business and Life podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Aim to Win in Business and Life podcast with Tony Coleman Brown. Please visit TonyColemanBrown.com for more information on this episode, and get ready to win.